I want to tell you about our efforts to align what we spend to what we earn. Sounds simple. Sounds like something that most businesses would want to do every day, and as did we. But over time, especially in a government organization like public transit, those two things don't always line up. I work at the Capital District Transportation Authority, which is the regional transit property in the Albany, New York metropolitan area. And over time, our budget had grown, our expenses had grown with the expenses due to labor, due to increases in the cost of fuel, or frankly, we were spending more than we were receiving. Customers account for about 22% of our revenue. And the remainder of the revenue, as with most transit properties across the country, comes from federal, state, and local funding sources. We needed to take action. We needed to align the budget to be a lot tighter, a lot crisper, and a lot more in line with what the community wanted. Rather than constantly looking for more funds, we decided to take several steps backward, align what we spend to what we earn, and then at some point be able to grow the business, grow ridership, grow revenue. So this was a period of transition. It took a lot of time, it took a lot of attention to detail, and it took a lot of compassion, because what we really ended up talking about here were right-sizing headcounts, reducing the number of people who worked at CDTA. When we started out, we set a goal for ourselves of where possible to ever compromise the human element. We did not want to fire people, lay people off, anything of that sort. So what we did is used attrition as our friend. And attrition is, I found, very powerful tool when used the right way. So over the course of 18 months, as people retired, or as people were separated from the company, those positions were not replaced. The only caveat here is if it was a safety-sensitive job or something that was absolutely necessary. That job obviously was refilled. But in our case, public transit entity, most of our jobs are bus drivers, mechanics, people who clean buses, things of that nature. Those were the jobs that through attrition over the course of this 18-month period were allowed to be literally leave the organization and not be replaced. Frankly, we learned a lot. One of the things we learned was that this attrition tool was very powerful and actually worked quicker than we thought. We were able to reduce the size of the workforce by 10% in about 19 months. For us, total employment at the time was 700. 10% is 70 jobs. The budget situation over time was pleasantly moved pleasantly fast, and we got to a point where we were very, very happy. The flip side of all this was restructuring our service on the street. The routes that take people to where they want to go, restructuring those to align with this new employment count. That was a little more difficult and took us a little more time, but we're happy with that as well. That happened concurrently, and ridership is up about 8 to 10%. So the size of the organization reduced by about 10%, the head count, and ridership, the people who use our services, our customers, increased by about 8%, 9%, and then revenue increased accordingly. So in a general context, we were able to downsize the organization, increase the number of people using the service. All in all, we were pretty happy. We think it's been very, very successful. My board of directors has been right at the center of this initiative. The organization really is the board. The board really is the organization, along with the people who work here. They've been extremely supportive. They were very quick to grasp the nature of this project and to provide appropriate guidance. Our chair, Denise Figueroa, provided the leadership necessary, because frankly, you can't do this alone. This has impacts beyond the organization. In fact, we used the media, we used our stakeholders to be supportive of us. We told them in advance what we were going to do, what the impact would be on the organization, what the impact would be on customers, what the impact would be on them. So the board took a leadership role, the chair especially took a leadership role in being out front of the initiative rather than being secretive about it or considering it a problem within our own family that we had to resolve. We went out with this initiative and said to the community, here's what we're doing, here's why we're doing it, here's how it will impact you, here's how it will impact people, for example, who work for you, who use our services to get to work, and here's where we expect to be 18 months from now, 2 years from now. We expect to be better, we expect to be bigger, we expect to be stronger. And here's what you can expect from us as a result. So a supportive board, a supportive chair is critical in the process, and it's certainly critical to the success of the CEO. No one likes to be downsizing. No one likes to be putting people's jobs at risk. No one likes to be telling the community that at least temporarily you might see less from us, not more. So when you have a board and a chair that rally around a cause, understand what we're doing, understand the direction clearly, and then set the path for you, it makes life a whole lot easier. And I'm frankly very lucky to have people like this supporting me and leading me and providing guidance. It's something I realize that everyone doesn't. In our line of work, everyone doesn't have. So worked very well for us. Hats off to the board. Hats off to Denise Figueroa. We are a better organization today than we were yesterday. I want to point out that, at the end of the day, revenue and expenses were aligned. Our budget was balanced. Our ridership has gone up. All measures of efficiency are improved. We're certainly better and stronger. We've now got a platform built for ourselves to expand the organization, to provide more to the community. But I certainly don't want to underlie the fact that there were significant challenges throughout this process. And at any given point in time, it seemed like the challenges could be daunting for sure. One of them was our workforce. I live in an environment here with a unionized workforce, and I consider myself a friend of labor. But at the end of the day, we all had a job to do, and their job in this one was to protect the rights of their members, our employees. And in a funny sort of way, my job was the same thing, to protect the rights of our employees. But we needed to achieve this downsizing, and so we needed to work together to find a common pathway here. And for us, the secret was honesty. And what we did is we told the unions, we told them exactly what we knew. We told them exactly what our situation was. We showed them the books, literally. We opened the books to them and said, here's where we are. Here's where we need to get to. And here's how we together can build public confidence in who we are and what we're doing. At the end of the day, if we achieve this goal, the community will think more highly of the organization. The community will think more highly of the people who work here. That's good for management. That's good for the union. So we got them to buy in, to realize that they were a stakeholder. They were a stakeholder in this. They were a partner in this. There were no secrets from each other. I can't tell you that that's the same in every organization, because we all know how we like to work, and we tend to work in our own foxholes. We basically dug a bigger foxhole. We jumped in the foxhole together, and we worked together. Certainly a challenge, certainly not the easiest thing in the world, but I think as long as we kept reminding ourselves that our employees were our responsibility, our collective responsibility, both management and unions, labor, it was easy. But there were some days when it seemed awful cloudy out. But again, the end of the day, a stronger organization, more riders, more efficiency, a community reputation that frankly has never been better. We now have people who call us for business opportunities rather than us have to call them. We are aligned with what our stakeholders want and need. We are aligned with what our customers want and need. Government officials, I think, look to us now as an example of an organization that grasped the problem, attacked the problem, and fixed the problem. Rather than cry to the government for more help, we went out and addressed our own problems, and I think today we're better off as a result.